It all starts now.
I always like to say that Bittensor is a federation. We're trying to create a 1,000-year federation, so I'm not the CEO. I'm just one of the people here that really believes in this technology. We're a movement, and we started this movement a long time ago, and one of the first things we did was write it down. We wrote down our mission to unify Bitcoin and AI.
With the emergence of global internet, we are now within the shadow of this transcendental object at the end of time.
What Bitcoin really showed was that a digital commodity market, a pure market, could create anything with such efficiency and power that we could compete with nation states.
Human technologies, languages, migrations, art movements, ideologies are not something different from nature.
Over time, the way in which we will reach pinnacle artificial intelligence is as an interleaved connective tissue of refined intelligence all the way up to God.
We are all gathered here at the end game of developmental processes on this planet. We are about to become unrecognizable to ourselves as a species.
Welcome. This is TAO City Live. I am Crypto Buffalo, and this is live. And I'm all over the place already. I love it. I hope you guys have enjoyed that first little open. That was by J11, a creator in the Bittensor ecosystem that I am a huge fan of, and I want to give him a shout out. You can follow him at J11237 on Twitter, and also check out his YouTube. He has nothing but bangers. My man Jay, keep editing, keep creating, brother, because I love the way that your vibe you put into your Bittensor videos gets me going. Had no other way but starting the show with your video, and I really thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that video in its entirety. And we are going to play another of J11's videos later, but definitely check him out, J11237. That's the way to start a stream. Appreciate you, Jay. I'm Crypto Buffalo, as I told you earlier, and this is TAO City Live. TAO City is a community. It is for all of Bittensor believers, so it is the home for Bittensor believers. It's in the Discord right now. I don't know where it's going to go from here. This is live. We're just starting this thing. I was going to create videos and upload them to YouTube and do that whole algorithm chasing thing. And I said, you know what? Let's just do it live every Tuesday. Let's just change Tuesday from here on out to TAO Tuesdays. And every Tuesday moving forward, we're going to do TAO City Live and then eventually launch TAO City Radio. So once these lives are done, we will go back into the city. We'll do another 3 hours of interviews and music in the city, which is in the Discord. You can go there by going to tao.city, enter and become a TAO citizen. And yeah, we'll see where everything goes. So let's get into it a little bit. For those who don't know who I am, I've been in the space since 2017. And let's take a look at some things that I put together here to help you out to understand. I'm a freelance cameraman out of Seattle. Been doing it for 20 years now. Mostly do sports. And it's a lot of fun. I mostly working live like we're doing right now. VMix director. So that's my setup right there. And when I was younger, I traveled in an RV. I sold all my stuff except for my gear. And I did a show called Road Bandit, and I was traveling around the world, and then out of nowhere, I discovered Bitcoin. And then when I discovered Bitcoin, my life was changed. And I started to do the Crypto Buffalo Report out of a farm in Georgia where I would do stories on Bitcoin. This was in 2017. And then I discovered NFTs in 2020, and I reached out to the show NFT Live to co-host and direct that show with them, with my man Nifty Q and Ronan the Collector. Had a whole bunch of fun interviewing all sorts of crazy people in the space, and it's been a lot of fun to do. And it is one of those now where it's led me to this moment. As you can tell, I'm a little nervous, so I'm rambling on like a crazy buffalo. But this is a moment I've been waiting for a while. Now, I discovered Bittensor in December of 2023. And I'll tell you, I watched the show, the documentary, The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin, back in June 10th, 2017 at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a farm in Georgia. I'll never forget it. I hit pause halfway through that documentary, stood up and was like, yes, money is now transparent and it's scarce and you can't just keep printing it. I could get behind this. And my whole life was just, the paradigm shifted. And from then, it's just been this crazy rabbit hole inside of the crypto space. And then I come across Bittensor in December of 2023, and everything changed even more. It actually took me, no joke, 24 hours of research to even understand and comprehend what Bittensor was trying to do. And then I took about a year of kind of, taking my head and putting it straight up the bum and just really just lost in the sauce of life. And I'll be honest with you, at the beginning of this year is when I really started looking into Bittensor seriously. And then when subnets came out with DTAO in February, that was the game changer for me. And so I've been heads down trying to learn, doing some crazy trades, trying to understand what to do and what I could bring to the space. And being a live director and cameraman, I thought, let me just do a live stream. Let me just create a community where we can all hang out and see what happens. So this is it. This is TAO City Live, and I hope to get as many amazing people on the show as we can to do live interviews. We got our first live interview coming up here in a little bit, and really I want it to be a place for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a content creator. It doesn't matter if you own a subnet or you're a big investor or trader or a KOL or whatever. If you want to come up and speak about your passions about Bittensor, share some alpha, tell me a joke, I don't care, man. This is what it's all about here in TAO City. So hopefully you're all enjoying this. And let me break down a little bit of what's going on in TAO City. Right now, we only have 2 streets that are built in the Discord. But let's take a look. Let's cruise into TAO City and take a look at the streets.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge. You are now about to witness.
Alrighty, we are in TAO City right here. This is the Discord. This is where we all hang out, and that's where the magic happens. The first street that is built off of TAO City Boulevard is Alpha Street, properly named title for a street. And inside of it, it is really, my goal is to be an aggregate of all of the alpha channels, all of the Telegram groups, all of the trading groups that are out there. You have Subnet Summer, you have the what is it? The Tao Clan. You have the Wu Tao Clan, excuse me, my bad. And you have a lot of these Telegram groups that are chasing alpha nonstop. Well, now the city, we can have a street that's all about that. And so within the city, we're going to take a lot of alpha that people can share, but a lot of emotional support too. We all know right now the market has gone crazy. This is a tree shaking event if I've ever seen one. And so within the city, man, we're all looking out for each other. We're having a lot of good time posting some alpha. Subnet 93 Bitcast opened up its mining for registration for X users, 150 people qualified. That was pretty dope. So we're just sharing a lot of things inside of the Discord. And over time, I feel like you don't know who's going to show up in there and share something. And I've done this before when I was in NFTs. We had a community for lads. And I'll never forget the day somebody came in and said, you guys, there's this project called Bored Ape Yacht Club that's minting right now. And all of the community started buying Bored Apes at mint price, which was like $100. And of course, if you follow the NFT space, they ended up being worth millions of dollars each. So very crazy to be early in something, but even crazier to have a community of tons of people around the world that are early, all sharing alpha of anything and everything that they come across. And I think it's a way for us to empower us to keep learning, battle through these bear markets and the FUD, and just support each other. Because let's be honest, Bittensor is the most complex crypto project I've ever come across, and most likely yourself as well. And the best thing we can do is just be patient and, be a good pal and hang out in TAO City. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to get to learn about a TAO City citizen, one of the earliest TAO City citizens that has joined TAO City. He's going to come up next and talk about Bittensor, his experience in crypto, and just talk about life, man. We're going to get real with it. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to do our first TAO City interview. Alrighty. We are live, and we are here with the one and only FarmBoy, who goes by HeartandHarvest on TAO City, man. On Twitter. How you doing, brother, man?
I'm living the dream, dude. First off, honor and a privilege to be here on the first live stream. We've been talking about this for a while, man. I'm excited it's finally happening.
Dude, it's an honor. It's an honor to have you as the first guest. There'll never be another first guest. There'll never be another first live stream. I woke up this morning just thinking that, like, dude, whatever. If you mess up, you screw, whatever. Just get it going. Just get it started. This space is all about momentum and people building and showing up. And you showed up today, man, here in TAO City. And let's just get right into it, man. Let's talk first about your experience in crypto. What brought you into the blockchain space? And then we'll get into Bittensor.
Well, without getting too deep into the origin story and about how we met in general, one of the things that brought me into crypto is fatherhood, actually. I kind of lived with my head in the clouds for a really long time. And to be vulnerable with you in the audience, it's just like I didn't really think about long-term financial stuff. I didn't have a wealth plan. That wasn't something that was part of my reality until I had kids. And then when I had kids, I was also battling inflation, and I've made more money every single year of my life. I've made a little bit more money, at least 10%. And I've taken home less and less, and groceries get more expensive, and I've seen my dollar going less and less far every single year of just busting my ass and innovating and finding more ways to make money. And so I finally did what I should have done probably 7 years ago, and I did some research. And I realized that in this paradigm that we live in this system that's kind of set up, um, it's kind of an antagonist to people who want to do things more traditionally, or people who want to try to make it in this reality. And one of the few ways that I found that you could actually make money is by investing, whether that's in stocks. And when I started researching this, I also found that cryptocurrency was a great way that you could build generational wealth, as long as you're not chasing, you're not chasing the wrong projects. And as long as you're willing to be patient, and as long as you're willing to invest in things that have actual utility. And so that brought me into researching and developing my investment thesis and building out my portfolio. And sometime in that process, I picked up my phone and I called an old friend. I called Crypto Buffalo and I said, "Hey, man, you told me about Bitcoin in 2016, 2017. And I'm thinking to myself, I sure hope you're a millionaire right now, man. I sure hope you're a millionaire." And we talked, and that's when you TAO Pilled me, man.
Yeah, I remember the call like it was yesterday. I was out in center field at T-Mobile Park in Seattle about to shoot a Mariners game. I get a call, and all of a sudden I hear somebody say, is this Buffalo Randy? I was like, I've been called that name from time to time. This must be somebody really cool that I haven't talked to in forever. And yeah, I'll remember just like your enthusiasm for crypto. And I just smiled because I was literally deep down the rabbit hole of TAO City and the Bittensor and all the plan in the summer as I was kind of building it out. And I was like, well, if you're down for crypto talk, I got a project for you, man. And I'll be honest, I thought I was going to scare you away. I was like, dude, I've been trying to TAO Pill all my friends and family, and it's been rough. And you were so open to it. You were so just ready to learn. And every link I sent you, you watched, and then you hit me back with what you thought of that. And so I think your mindset for this space is just, it's ready to go, bro. It's healthy. It's ready to go and learn. And you have the patience for the space too. You're not too emotional right now. The markets are all bloody, and I've never had you panic call me like, dude, what do we do? What do we do? you're dialed in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'm an absolute freshman in this space. Absolutely. Just like full disclosure, first year investing, but at the same time, I'm also a farmer. And as a farmer, I've learned patience, and I've learned many lessons through failure. And part of learning those lessons through failure is like being able to have a certain tolerance for risk, for innovation, and for taking a beating, honestly. And so I feel like in a lot of ways, my life's goals and my passions and what I'm trying to monetize as far as my 9 to 5 has prepared me for this space in a way that I don't know, other jobs or other gigs couldn't have. So I appreciate you saying so, man. And it was fun watching those first few videos. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm glazing TAO too much or anything like that, but I remember watching those first few videos with JJ and James Altucher and just like almost getting goosebumps. I felt the energy, and watching some of those first interviews with people like Barry Silbert and them comparing it to the early days of internet or the early days of Bitcoin. And it just really resonated with me because I feel like in my experience, at least, and I know it's not necessarily the case, but part of me feels like I missed the boat on Bitcoin, right? I know a lot of people that are new to the crypto space feel that way, but with TAO, it almost feels like we're getting a second chance to make some of those possibly life-changing returns. I know you don't want to talk price too much, but at the end of the day, like those first few videos, those hopium videos, those really hit.
Yeah. When I think about price, I always ask, I'm going to ask Jacob Steves, where is the price of Bittensor going to go? And you know what he always says?
Into infinity and beyond.
That's where it's going. Into infinity and beyond. The price don't matter, folks. It's what we build here that matters. And I think it's one where, yeah, I'll dabble with price from time to time, bro. I ain't going to like yell at you about it. But I do think it's one people spend too much time on a current price of something that you should have a long-term vision on. And Bittensor is definitely a long-term vision for myself. And for you, man, right? We're definitely in this for the long haul. We want to build here.
Absolutely.
And So let's talk about where you are with your family and crypto, and how are you merging the two? Because you are just like myself. You're like living the life I'm trying to head towards, man, with where you are at with your life on the farm. You've got fresh eggs from your chickens. You've got organic children, bro. Organic children. I love it. We need to start raising more organic kids, bro. Tell me more about your farm life and what it's like with combining crypto in your investing along with day to day getting your hands dirty on the farm.
Well, they're honestly antithetical to one another because I need to spend a certain amount of time in front of a screen, and I need to be looped in to a certain degree on, crypto Twitter, the pages I follow on YouTube, the channels I follow on Discord. So I find myself taking my phone outside more often than I would like, which in a way kind of takes you out of the moment. And when you're outside, if anyone like who wants to work with their hands or aspires to be on the land or live closer to the land or farming or any of the more traditional ways, like you would kind of understand why taking the technology out in the field with you isn't super ideal. But I have found myself like listening to podcasts while I'm pulling weeds and stuff like that, trying to synthesize the knowledge that I need to be bringing in and digesting, as well as with the labors of love that I have here on the farm. So big inspiration for me is like right now we're on 6 acres here. My life goal for my family is ultimately empire building. And I would love to have, a few hundred acres, maybe not even limit myself, to infinity and beyond, like you said, a few thousand acres, and just farm a small percentage of that. And so our goal really is to work as hard as we can, make as much money as we possibly can, and then live as poor as possible and save as much money as possible. But instead of saving fiat like I have been for years, I'd get up to $10,000 or $20,000 savings. Then life happens and it just like comes back all the way down to nothing. But with crypto, since I've been putting money into it, I found that it's harder for me to take money out of my portfolio, and I haven't actually pulled from it once. So I've been able to save more money than I ever have in my entire adult life, which like good for me. I'm proud of myself. But maybe that'll resonate with someone out there who's having the same issues, and like, dude, like just treat this as a long-term holding investment vehicle, not financial advice. But most serious projects with real utility are going to outcompete the dollar. And that's the way we need to start looking at this thing. Is the dollar's depreciating 10% a year. If you could put your money into something that's going to go up or even stay the same over the course of a year, or go up 10%, I'm sorry, you're still going to outcompete fiat. So synthesizing that vision with the farm and with crypto is ultimately just about building that multi-generational wealth and building that empire for my family so we can live closer to the land.
Can only imagine how you are trying to approach that with the kiddos and that stress by being patient within Bittensor as well, right? We're so early. We both believe this is an opportunity. But yeah, it's like, how much do you want to invest? Because you don't want to put in money that you need for your family. And for me, I'm a dollar cost average guy. Every 4th and 20th of the month, I'm buying TAO, no matter the price. The 420 rule, it works for me. Bitcoin, I did the same thing. And then COVID crashed and I started still DCAing while it was cheap, and I think people need to come up with what works for them that doesn't stress them out, allows them to sleep like a baby. And we've been playing in the subnets and we've been getting wrecked a little bit. We got some winners that aren't winning right now, but we believe in you.
Oh, man.
And then there's Root. And you can go into Root and you'll sleep like a baby every day. So if you're all brand new to the space and you're trying to figure out where to put your money into Bittensor, Root is always a safe play to start. You get a little APY of a couple percentage, and then do your math, and then do your research and just take it easy. DCA is the way to go, though. I'll recommend that to everybody.
Absolutely. 100%. I think everyone's investment thesis is going to be personal, based off of like what works best for them. For us here, we've got our budget. We know how much we need to spend. And then we leave essentially $400 or $500 fluid in case we want to go out to eat or do something special, or in case something comes up. And then I take all of my extra liquid income and I put it into TAO. TAO's about 1/3 of all of my holdings right now. And I would like it to be closer to half, but I didn't discover it until I was well past on my journey to actually investing in cryptocurrency. So I think absolutely, if anyone's TAO curious or anything like that, do your research. If you get bitten by the bug, then just find out what you could comfortably set aside. And for me, what works is just kind of forgetting it's there. I honestly don't check my portfolio often enough, especially like you said, Buffalo, since a couple of our runners have been bleeding. I've been intentionally not checking as often as I would like, but
I do the same
that's
thing.
how it goes. if you believe in these subnets long term and them being multi-billion-dollar valuation companies, it doesn't matter if we're bleeding in the short term, because if you're holding for 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, none of this is going to matter, and it's really not worth your attention. And keeping your emotions on the sidelines is so important in this crypto space. Like, even if you have to just not check the charts, or if you just have to take a few deep breaths, however you process that spike in cortisol and that stress, you need to get it under control, because so many people panicking, it's just not good for the space. And it's you're leeching all your prana and all your lush, all your spiritual energy into like these market makers that are ultimately, I think, doing this kind of stuff on purpose. The market manipulation, the big whales, using people as exit liquidity. Just, if you leave your emotions out of it, you're much more likely to be safe, and you're much more likely to profit in the long run.
Yeah, emotions getting triggered right now for a lot of people that aren't long-term believers and looking to flip. And when you're in the wrong position, it starts going the wrong way. The panic sets in. You start making bad decisions, and then you look like an idiot when it reverses. And you're like, oh man, I was in a good spot, but my brain got shaking around. So that's a great call, man.
Right.
All right, I got one last question before I let you go, brother man. What is the process for you when you try to TAO pill somebody? Because the next segment we're going to cover is about the TAO Pill Tactics. So I would love to hear from you. What have you done with your friends and family to TAO pill them so far?
Well, before there was the Discord, I would send them. I had a couple of videos that were the first ones that I would send them, and it would usually be a Barry Silbert interview or a Tao Pod interview with James Altucher and JJ. But now that the Discord channel's there and everything's loaded up, I will just literally push people toward the Discord, and I'd say, hey, if you're interested in this thing that we talked about, I want you to go check out these videos, see if any of them resonate with you. But typically, depending on who I'm talking to, I'll either give them that more base material presentation that I proposed earlier, which is just like, hey, this is potentially multi-generational wealth. I believe in it. You don't necessarily have to, but please do the research, and do the research for your kids and grandkids, not just for you. All right. Like, leave your emotions on the sideline and think about what it would mean if this project is going to run any way similar to a project like Bitcoin, and you could buy in less than $500 right now. And then secondarily, if I'm having more of like an abstract conversation with someone and talking about the meta implications of Tao, it is simply that this technology is the most profound advancement in humanity's existence. And we're kind of staring over the edge of a cliff, with the potential of all of this technology being held in the hands of a select few corporations. And I don't think that's a good idea. So, like, on a meta scale, I think decentralized artificial intelligence and the Tao Bittensor network is really humanity's best chance to have a seat at the table and fight back against centralized AI. So those are my two kind of areas I'll take it, depending on how deep I want to get with people.
Legend.
Well said, sir. Well said. That was really good, brother man. Dude, I know I'm going to have you on the show almost every week. Whenever you want to come up, you can come up, brother. This has been a first one that we'll never forget, man. Me and you met in the jungles of Costa Rica at the Envision Festival years ago, and now we are hanging out in TAO City talking about Bittensor. Life changes and takes you on crazy
Love it,
rides,
dude.
brother. And I'm glad to have you on board, brother. And I know that we're going to go to some crazy places together for sure. And who knows, soon enough, I'll be living next door to you on my own separate farm, raising my own organic kids. It's the vision. It's the dream, man. Appreciate you so much, brother. Anything else you'd like to say before I let you go?
Oh man, just so grateful for being here. Thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate you creating this space for people to come together, share their stories, share alpha, and grow together. And I ultimately want whatever flavor of this kind of lifestyle for everyone. I think everyone should touch grass a little more, live a little bit more organic, and I hope everyone that makes their fortune through Tao can find a way to build something really special that will last into eternity for their families. So lots of love to you, Buffalo. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Much love, brother. Well said. And we will see you again. That was FarmBoy, Heart and Harvest. Follow him on Twitter. Crushing it at the farm. Appreciate you, dog. When we come back, we are going to talk about TAO Pill Tactics here on TAO City Live. Stay tuned. Alrighty, we're back here on TAO City Live. I hope you all enjoyed that first ever live interview here on TCL. And that was FarmBoy, goes by HeartandHarvest. He is in TAO City right now, hanging out. So if you loved what he was talking about, go hit him up. And if you want to join TAO City, it's super easy. Go to your browser, type in TAO.CITY, TAO City, hit enter, and boom, there you are. You're right at the front gates of TAO City. No price for admission. All you got to do is just sign in, and you got to have a Discord account, of course. And boom, there you are. You get all the access to the city right now. Over the coming weeks, we're going to create more of a citizenship structure for streets that are verified, so you know there's no bots in there. And so we'll do an email list and all that good stuff. But to start, it's super easy. TAO.city on your browser. Hit enter. Boom, you're right there at the front gates of Discord and TAO City. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to talk about TAO Pill Tactics. And today I would really like to give a shout out to one of the best creators that has really blown my mind in the space, Avert Scott. If you don't know who this man is, I highly recommend you follow him on Twitter and X at EVERT_Scott. And he has the best documentaries that are out there for Bittensor. Honestly, I got TAO Pilled by this man alone for everything that he's created. And he just released his second documentary, Incentive Layer. Let's take a look at that trailer right now.
Aligned incentives and open competition, you'll outperform any centralized organization.
There were several AI waves over the intervening decades, and each wave thought that the Omega moment was around the corner. And it got to the point where we all kind of thought like it was never coming. And then all of a sudden it was here. And it was here with an incredible suddenness, right? And it passed the Turing test.
AI is the most impactful development, I believe, in human history.
We are creating the most abstract meta, biggest accomplishment human can ever make, which is the human mind itself.
The opportunity is large, but the risk is large as well.
Do we really want what happened in the social media space to happen here? The obvious answer is no.
This is why I'm so passionate about decentralization in this space.
The world better understands what decentralization is and now has an example in Bitcoin of how decentralized money and value could work.
Humanity's most abstract form of energy is money. And it was that enabled us to build the largest supercomputer in the world, which was Bitcoin.
Bitcoin emerged to be the alternative to fiat. And centralized intelligence production needs a counterweight as well. And I believe that's going to be Bittensor.
If you think about what Bittensor is, it incentivizes everyone on the planet, anyone who wants to participate, to solve any problem.
Whatever idea you may have, as niche or big or small as it is, you can build it on Bittensor.
If you make something permissionless, that's where the path of least resistance is. So that's where most people are going to go. That's where the competition is going to exist for the best ideas and the best products. You want that open freedom.
So you look at something like the internet, I think its strength is that there's so many different attempts to build different things on the internet. The most powerful things that have ever been built through that sort of competitive process are incredible, and they've changed the world. I think the same may be true for Bittensor.
It is so good. I've watched it 3 times over. I highly recommend you check it out. It's called The Incentive Layer. It just came out about 3 weeks ago. Avert Scott, and I'm telling you right now, this man, I can't wait to see what he puts out next. He's underrated. Like, he only has 2.45. He's only got 2,400 subscribers on his YouTube. That is blasphemy. That just makes no sense. I don't like it. So highly recommend you check him out on Twitter and on YouTube. Give him a like, subscribe, check out everything that he's dropped. He has been around for years now, honestly. I mean, he's been putting out some stuff for a long time, and it is high quality, and it's really helping shape the minds of people who are trying to comprehend Bittensor. Avert Scott, my man, I can't thank you enough for just doing what you do. Seriously, brother. If it weren't for you, I would still be struggling on so many levels to really comprehend this, and you were doing exactly where I'm trying to head with TAO City Live. I want to bring in everyone to have a chance to speak and really give a platform for this understanding. And sometimes you could hear 10 people break down Bittensor and you're 0 for 10 on understanding. But that 11th guy or woman, they say something special about Bittensor and it just clicks. and you're like, ah, eureka, I get it. So huge shout out to Vert Scott, my man. Appreciate everything that you're doing. And there are some other amazing people. So if you were trying to TAO pill somebody right now, you're just learning Bittensor and you're like, all right, I'm into this. I can't stand centralized AI. I don't like their vibes. Let's create a decentralized, incentivized protocol like Bittensor, and let's build where we don't have to have this middleman. We don't have to have this giant conglomerate raising all this money and controlling everything. Let's do it ourselves. And this energy is very special. And so when you're trying to TAO pill people, you start to sound like a cult leader or something. You're like, nah, let's get into this. And what I recommend is really going down the list of some of the biggest creators in the space right now that are helping TAO pill everybody. And some of those people, besides Vert Scott, I really think that you should take a look at. We got Mark Jeffrey, my man, with the Hash Rate Pod. He has done some amazing interviews along with himself where he'll do a rant for a little bit where he'll break down the tokenomics, the subnets, emissions. There are some videos in there that really helped me connect the kind of process of understanding for Bittensor. And so Mark Jeffrey is the man. I highly recommend you look into him. Now, Siam Kid, if you don't know about Siam Kid, I highly recommend you look into him as well. He actually put out a video a couple years back where he was just straight up brutally honest. And he's like, I was wrong about Bittensor. And that video was just really the eureka click moment for him that he shared in his video. And him and Creaser of Mark Creaser, him and Mark Creaser are doing DSV Fund, which they also do novelty search, or excuse me, revenue search every week where they interview a subnet and break it down, really getting down to, all right, how are you going to produce revenue? Now, if we really want to simplify things, I highly recommend you look into TAO Templar. This man has just got the patience of a saint. He takes the time in each one of his videos to break down Bittensor in ways that really help people comprehend it. And you go and look at some of his oldest stuff. He's got a whiteboard and it's laying on the ground and he's got little pieces of paper and he just did it simple. And it was just very powerful, honestly. When you're really trying to break down certain aspects of Bittensor, TAO Templar is the man. And I really recommend him in ways that, you know, it's a no-brainer. Honestly, it's you want to send somebody somewhere where they can comprehend Bittensor in ways that it's not too complex yet, because there's going to be rabbit hole talks on this stream for sure. We'll have people come in that are subnet creators and they're dev brain, engineer brain. They're going to be going so deep that the audience is going to get lost in the sauce unless they're Bittensor, you know, audience members that have been in the space for a long time. And so it's one of those where I'm going to try to help shape the narrative of anyone that's creating, to help just explain what they're creating and help them, you know, at least get eyes on what they're creating. And I think that's where you get engineers and devs that don't think about the marketing side of it and the educational side of it. And there is a couple other really amazing shows that I highly recommend as well, which is the TAO Pod. Now, the TAO Pod, you can get lost in the sauce on the TAO Pod. It is definitely a fun podcast with James Altucher and Joseph Jacks. They really put together a podcast that it's just them and they're just rambling on for about 2 hours. And it is, for myself, who's very obsessed with Bittensor, it's like waking up on Christmas morning and opening a present of just pure, you're going to get hit with some hopium. You're going to get hit with some FOMO. You're going to really understand where this can go in ways that you never thought about with Bittensor. And so if you haven't taken a look at the TAO Pod yet, highly recommend you subscribe to them. They've had some really interesting kind of moments on their podcast. There's only 11 episodes so far, and I just watched the last episode last week, and there was a moment in it that I really liked with James Altucher, and take a look.
To do this. So imagine I have a kid. I have several kids, but imagine I have one kid, and I'm given the choice. The goal is you want your kid to have the best education possible. And so I have two choices: send the kid to Harvard, or he spends 4 years and during those 4 years, he has to be a miner for 1 or 2 subnets. He has to be a validator, and he has to build a subnet. That I would always choose the latter, because you're going to get such an education in entrepreneurship, in incentives, in negotiation, in pricing, not all in economics, because there's many economics issues
Game theory,
completely game theory. By the way, many of the subnet owners, 50% of their time is thinking about how to deal with people trying to exploit their incentive mechanisms. Yes. So you have to think about game theory all the time. And that's the real world. They never teach you about exploits and corrupt businessmen in college. It's all an idealistic world in college. So building a subnet, being a miner for, let's say, 1 to 3 subnets, being a validator for subnets, you're going to learn coding, you're going to learn technology, you're going to learn economics, you're going to learn incentives, you're going to learn management, game theory. You're going to get such a great real world education. TAO University, someone should set up TAO University to basically, explain to people the benefits, and maybe we could do this, but explain to people the benefits of doing these activities on TAO. My kid will be so much more successful if I put him through TAO University than if I send him to Harvard, where, okay, he'll get good connections, but that lasts for so long.
I mean, brilliance, right? Let's just break the paradigm of educational system. I'm not going to go too deep on my rabbit holes of conspiracy theories here, but we all understand that the educational system was created by, a larger group of people, and the Rockefeller Institute really kind of created this system to train everyone here, man. Honestly, if you've gone through public educational system, you understand it is a lot of learning and repeating, and there's a lot of authority involved, and you really can't kind of get out into the ether of potential as you imagine things when you're young, and they're always kind of forced to memorize and this and that. So what if you took that money that you're going to take to send your kid to college and instead sent them to Bittensor? I love this idea. I really think some of the best people that are going to come into Bittensor land are going to be this young up-and-comers where the internet is just part of their life. They understand large language models. They understand just approaching a problem, knowing there's so many resources on the internet for them to go look at to approach that problem. And I think Bittensor, and again, when they talk about game theory, I think it is just priceless. Any young kids that are trying to build on Bittensor instead of going to a college, which is going to be outdated on a lot of levels. Bittensor University, man, or TAO University. I love the idea. Maybe TAO City will actually build out a little university as well, some kind of training. I mean, can you right now list every subnet? I can't. I mean, I have a whole list right here. I could go down each one, but by my memory, flashcard training might help, if I go through a list and that. So I think there's a lot of ways for us to educate ourselves and also our children within Bittensor. So I love that. That is the TAO pod, by the way. And there is a lot of other tactics that we will go through on how to TAO pill your friends, family, and neighbor's dog. But when we come back, we are going to look into Bittensor Safety and really look out for what you're holding and some protocols and some stories that will really teach everyone involved what not to do and what to do to keep your Bittensor TAO safe. We'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back here for the last segment here on TAO City Live. As we, it's been a little rough around the edges on this first show. I hope you all enjoying this. There hasn't been a lot of marketing, so there's probably not a lot of people watching, and there will be a replay. I'm going to be editing this up, uploading it onto YouTube, and you also can watch the stream, on Twitter, even if you have to leave right now. So no worries. The streams, they're going to go most likely around an hour plus. As I line up more interviews, it'll definitely go into the 2-hour mark. And then, like I said, moving forward in a couple of weeks, we're going to launch TAO City Radio. So a lot of this video stream stuff will go for an hour or two. And then after that, we're going to head into the city, and we are going to be playing music and doing interviews and updates and breaking news for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I mean, I've done streams for over 6 hours before in the cities in a radio format. So I look forward to that. If you're just looking to listen to some music and keep your pulse on Bittensor all day, Lad City is here, or TAO City is here for you. And so is TAO City Radio. So it'll be coming out soon. But let's talk right now about Bittensor Safety, because each one of us has our own style of how we hold our wallets, and do we use ledgers, and how do we interact with exchanges? And there's ways that, honestly, you can get wrecked. And a lot of the times it's through deception. And these spammers and hackers are learning ways to really get at your money. And it is up to us to really share what they are doing so that we can all protect ourselves. And honestly, the first thing I want to do is give a huge shout out to Louise Beatty. She has released a really amazing article. If you don't know who she is, you should follow her on Twitter at Louise Beatty. And she released an article just a couple days ago about how a $100,000 mistake led to a hack where she ended up losing $100,000 and her wallet was drained. And this article, I want to give a huge shout out to her for being so brave just to share this and, you know, really admit to this. A lot of people would just hide on it and not admit it, but she's brave and she's sharing it for the overall growth of the ecosystem. And to really kind of, you know, I'm not going to read the whole thing here. I highly recommend you do. I'll post the link in the description. But what Louise ended up happening is she was having trouble seeing her display of her portfolio and the balance. And so she went into the Discord and she wrote a kind of question like, hey, I'm having trouble seeing my balance. Is there anything on my end I should be doing? And somebody responded right away with a support ticket. And they were using a support ticket program that is legit, but they ended up routing that support ticket into a DM. And so when it posted that ticket link, she clicked on it. And then she didn't even know somebody else actually deleted it right away after that, as it was spam, and she didn't know. So she's already outside of the Discord or she's still in the Discord, but she's in the DM now with this person that posted that ticket. And this person was acting like customer service and trying to walk her through the process. And as they were walking through the process, they then created another problem where she had to then kind of reconnect in a way that didn't make sense. And so through the DMs, she ended up giving wallet access to this person by giving them the keys. And it ended up being a process that, you know, kind of just wore her down as this person was going back and forth, where she just dropped her guard for just a second. And when you drop your guard and you give your keys to somebody else, you're in trouble. You should never be giving your keys away, number one, to anybody. Wallet address is one thing, but giving out keys in your seed phrases, that's a big no-no, and you should not be doing it. And there was probably a lot of distraction and a lot of things going on when that happened. And so Luis ended up sharing this story for the better good of the space. And it's one of those that a lot of people don't understand Discord. It can get really weird and complex. And there is a lot of bots, a lot of DMs to hit you up with an account that looks like it's part of the community you are, but they're not. And so one thing that she realized that she didn't do was to click on the person to verify that they were actually a legitimate member of that Discord. So some steps to take: whenever someone's DMing you, don't respond yet. Back check, connect, look and see where they're verified. And then if they're asking you in any way for any kind of information that's personal, just say no. Just say no. It's the best thing to do to start, is to really be patient and protective on your keys. And so for me, there is a model that I like to do, which is never store your wallet or use it on a computer that you are connecting out to all sorts of things. So this is my main hub here. I'm always downloading stuff. I'm always connecting together with a lot of different websites. And there's no way I would use this computer to access Bittensor in my wallets, because there's no way for sure that I'm certain of, you know, the fact that this computer might not have a program or something installed that can get that kind of information. So I don't want to like FUD and fear you too much on the space, but there are people that have been, you know, hacked here, like Louise, and she was brave enough to share it. Now, another thing about Louise that I love to death is she is all about community, and she has a series. Well, I just closed my whole browser here, so that'll be fun. We're going to get that back up here, but she has a series called The People of TAO. And one thing that I really like about that is she's not focusing on the price. She's not focusing on the project. She's focused on the people. And I really like that for the kind of inspiration for a lot of people to learn about what's going on in this space. And let's see if I can restore this real quick. I knew that might happen. Yes, that's the thing. When you're live, man, you know, you just gotta be ready for it all. Here we go. Let's bring this up. And I really want to showcase this for her. And, you know, it's something that I wanted to, you know, potentially bring her on the show. She does The People of TAO. It's an article series on X, and it's one of those that's just interviewed. You know, she reaches out, she interviews them, and she writes up a very nice article. This one's talking about the CEO of Subnet 121 Sunday Bar. And again, Louise Beatty on X, I highly recommend you follow her. She's been through a lot. She's sticking through it here in Bittensor, and is one of those people that you just understand is just genuine and really cares about the space. So Louise, I love what you're doing. I'm sorry that happened to you about the hack, but I have no doubt that this space will return the favor tenfold, and just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for sharing that, because that was definitely something that, you know, a lot of people are just going to drop their guard. And if that happened to them, they probably wouldn't say anything to anybody. They would lose a lot of money, and they would probably never jump back into Bittensor. But you're a brave woman. So I appreciate everything. Alrighty, so we're gonna get to besides safety, we're gonna now talk about something that, before I leave the show, I just came across another video by my man J11 that I just had to share. We're going to get into subnets next week. We're going to go deeper down the rabbit hole on this. So if you're watching right now and you wanted that full alpha report on everything, that's going to be happening. This week was more of a building week and get this first stream up. Next Tuesday, we will have more breakthroughs on what's going on in these subnets and demos and live interviews from a lot of the creators. And sometimes you can't keep up. And you're wondering, dude, Subnet 44 has been going off. What is going on with Subnet 44? Well, J11 has everybody covered. He created another video that I'm going to post here right now. Take a look.
Why don't we explain to the audience what exactly SCORE is?
So SCORE is a vision AI research company.
I'm going to take some video of my kid and upload it to the...
And the most exciting part of our partnership with Reading is that we want to help them to go for their new mission, which is to go back to the, top tape than they were.
You want vision? I will show you fucking vision.
Let's go. You want vision? I'll show you fucking vision. I love it. That's from Silicon Valley, by the way, an HBO comedy show that, oh man, whenever I just get too into the weeds in technology, I'll go watch that and just realize, just have fun with it all, man. So that was J11. Again, let's give him another shout out. If you haven't followed him, he is creating some bangers and releasing them all the time. That last video was released on Twitter. Hasn't put it up on his YouTube yet. He's out of France. And also with Luis, both of them out of France. So we got some really cool French, Bittensor brains out there that I just show nothing but love for. And J11, man, keep it going. You guys can follow him at J11237. Alrighty, so next what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at Meme Street. This is another street inside of the Discord, inside of TAO City. So right now, TAO City only has 2 streets built. We've got Alpha Street, and we also got Meme Street. So let's head on back into TAO City and take a look at what's going on the streets.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Alrighty, so what we got going on in TAO City right now on Meme Street. Meme Street is definitely one of those, keeping it loose. We're wrapping the stream up here, and so we really are just having fun inside of TAO City with the second street, which is Meme Street. Just a collective of all the memes going on in the space right now. And if you're looking for a good laugh, I highly recommend jumping on Meme Street. There's a lot of people have posted some memes that I've been collecting. This one right here, I really resonate with. Please just go back to my entry point. I don't even want to take profits anymore. I've been there, bro. I have been there. And the halvening is near, folks. It is on December 11th as of right now. That should be a very fun time. I'll be doing a live stream that day, and we'll be covering it all. This is the moment I got my first TAO. It's definitely a good time. And we got the great TAO Holio. Have you seen this? Oh yeah, this is classy right here.
Into infinity and beyond.
Okay. Jacob Steves, co-founder, and this is when I was in love with Ridges, still am, but I remember coming across this. The Fellowship of the Ridges is a good time. And then the Wu Tao Clan, that is the group I'm a part of. I've been in their Telegram since the beginning. That's another alpha group that I highly recommend you check out besides Subnet Summer. And this is one of my favorites. How I sleep knowing that most of the people I don't like have 0 TAO. Sleep just like that, baby. And here's another great one. How did you marry mom? I told her I invested in TAO when it was under $500. And you know what this kid says? Legend. Fucking legend. All right, so that's good stuff there. And I don't know who posted this one, but I got some more questions than answers with this. These are the co-founders of Bittensor. And believe that is, that's a meme. And then also, this is what happened really, at that Coldplay concert. He was really pushing T that day. He was pushing T, and he got in troubles. And so, this is just, it's Meme Street. It's the second street within the Discord for TAO City. There's going to be a lot more streets that are going to be built out for utility. If you have an idea for a street, if you want to bring a conversation you don't see anybody else doing, but you don't want to build out a big Discord or a big project, just come on to TAO City, man. I'll build out a street for you. You could be the mod for it, bring people in, and then anything you guys are producing, I'll bring it up onto the stream so people around the Bittensor space can see what's happening in TAO City at all times. And it's just going to be a fun ride. I have no idea where this is going, folks. I mean, as you can tell, I'm rambling a lot. I'm trying to share as much as I can. This is a live stream, and I'm going to try to keep it classy and informative and educational, informative, inspirational, all the good stuff. And it's one of those where I just don't know where this is going, but I know it's going to be fun, and I know I can't sleep at night because I'm always thinking about Bittensor. So I just said, let's do this live stream. Let's see what happens. I hope you got something from this very first one. We had FarmBoy on, and he's a citizen of TAO City, and he's a huge Bittensor believer. And next week, who knows who will come up. But this has been a great first show. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys next week for TAO City Live.